Hello and welcome to Real Watchers Movie Club. My name is Garrett.
And I'm Kevin.
And we are your hosts. Movie Club is a show where we pick a movie every week and discuss it, just like a book club. On today's show, we are covering the animated drama Millennium Actress. Our thoughts and more coming up on Movie Club. Released in 2001, Millennium Actress was directed by Satoshi Kon and stars Miyoko Shoji, Shozo Izuka, and Mami Koyama. Documentary filmmaker Genya Tachibana has tracked down the legendary actress Chiyoko Fujiwara, who mysteriously vanished at the height of her career. When he presents her with a key she had lost and thought was gone forever, the filmmaker could not have imagined that it would not only unlock the long-held secrets of Chiyoko's life, but also his own. The film currently has a 4.2 out of 5 on Letterboxd and is ranked 249 on its top 250. Alrighty, before we dive into our thoughts on the film, spoilers, and all that kind of stuff, we do want to issue a spoiler warning for the movie. We're going to ruin what, surprises are in store in this movie. I think if you're going to go into this movie, you should go into it as blind as possible. And then, that way you're not spoiled on anything. But stay tuned to the end of the show to find out what movie we're covering next week, because it's an iconic film that neither of us have seen. Alrighty, Kevin, so this week was my pick, and I picked the film Millennium Actress for us, because I am a very big fan of Satoshi Kon's work that we have covered on this show and the ones that we have not covered on this show. I don't think we are not covering Paprika at any point on the show, and I don't think it's on the top 250 anywhere. I'm just going to double check it's not on the schedule.
I didn't see it coming up, at least, or I didn't see it on 250 because I might have put Paprika.
But yeah, so that is I love Satoshi Kon's work. We covered Perfect Blue earlier on the show, which is, I think, just one of the best top 50 films of all time. Honestly, it is truly a fantastic thriller. And then I've also seen Paprika several times, and then have not yet watched Tokyo Godfathers, but I was really excited to watch Millennium Actress, which is a film that I've heard mentioned on Letterboxd when they do their celebrity for favorite films. Has been mentioned quite a bit, so was very excited to check this out. Had you heard of this movie at all before watching it?
No, I have not heard of this movie. I mean, I have heard of the director, and I don't know what I was thinking about going into this movie, to be honest, because Millennium Actress, how is this going to become a movie and make me enjoy it and think that I thought this would be more like a drama series, so I had no idea what I was coming into, which is good, because I think if I did know what was coming, I think I might have not liked it a little bit more than I did. So
interesting. Well, let's go ahead and dive into this a little bit, because I think this is a very different film that I would very much like to get into maybe some of your misgivings on it. But I do want to say this is probably one of the best. I mean, Satoshi Kon, who we've covered Perfect Blue in this, probably some of the best anime films to recommend to people who don't watch anime, I would say.
I would say that it's more adult anime than kid anime like Studio Ghibli or anything like that. Another thing that who directs Your Name and stuff, that's who I would recommend.
Makoto Shinkai, yeah, love his stuff.
Yeah, I think if you're not really into anime or anything like that, or animated movies, I would suggest watching his first, because his are more I don't want to say well known, but I look for those instead of kind of like the older animated movies, and then when I watch those, I'm like, oh, what else has he done, and then go backwards a little bit. So that's how I feel like I would suggest those ones. But this one's not a bad one to start off on as well. It's I don't want to get into the negatives, but I feel like this movie is way too short.
which is interesting because I think that at 87 minutes, it's definitely a brisk film.
Hmm.
But I don't think that I don't think that it's too long or too short. I think for the story that it's trying to tell, I thought it was perfectly like where it needed to be. I don't feel like I needed anything else, and I don't think I needed
I think
less. You know?
I I think I wanted maybe explanations of like I would love to see the title of the movies. Well, spoiler alert aside, we when we get into a different movie that she has acted in, I wanted to see the title of that movie to maybe get me more
Mm,
immersed into what they brought me into. Because to be perfectly honest, at the begin when you get into the first movie, um I was very confused. I'm like, how was there a guy with a video recorder recording a movie, recording a movie? So
yeah.
like I didn't catch on and I was like, oh wait, I'm stupid. I know what's happening now. But like it didn't it like it went very seamlessly from this movie to this movie to this movie. So maybe I don't want to like a pause, but I wanted maybe an explanation of like, okay, we're going to her first movie, then we're going to the next movie that made her big, or this was this she made a uh outstanding actress in this movie and that what's made her put her into that movie, something like that.
Sure. I think that might be a product though of our own cultural differences because there is several parts in this movie where they do have a camera shot of like the coffee table between Genya and Chiyoko, and there are the
Hmm.
posters or things for all the movies on the table,
Hmm. Hmm.
and we can't read Japanese. If we could read
Yeah.
Japanese, we would see the titles of each one, and
Yeah.
they would be there. And I think that might be an issue with I watched this on Amazon Prime, um, and the subtitles were not like built into the movie. I had to turn them on, which is kind of weird. So it might not be the best subtitling in that version of the film to see those. Um,
Hmm.
but I would say, like, when we get into the first movie, I felt like it was like maybe for me, I don't know what the difference may be, but I was immediately able to tell that this was an artistic, maybe a little bit of a poetic idea that these characters are getting engrossed in her story, right?
Yeah, and
Like,
I can see that. Hmm.
yeah. So I feel like it was very easy for me to tell that that's what we went into, and that's where we went.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know that Genya is a huge fan. The interviewer, we know that he is a massive fan of hers, but obviously, we won't know the full story until later in the film. Um, but I felt like for me it was really easy to tell.
Visual on screen to be like, oh, like this was when I first started, and then go into maybe that poster and then it start the movie off that way. But I'm not a director, so I can't say anything like if it's bad or good. But that's not how I think I would try to attack it, just to engage the audience a little bit more. I was totally engaged and enthralled throughout this whole movie, so I have nothing bad to say about that. But I did want we got a little bit of Genya's past about what happened at the very end, but I want to know why he was searching for her for so long, except for giving the item to her. But why did he think he was so enthralled in how she acted? And did he want to become an actor after seeing that or something like that? That's what I wanted to see in his past, because we get to see him as older, but there's some time and space in between when the accident happened and when he's doing the interview now.
Sure, I think that I can see that argument. I can see wanting to know more about him. I think the film does give us enough in maybe in visual. Obviously, like he has a connection to her because he saved her life.
Hmm.
Um, and like that, and obviously, and then working next to someone who you admire is going to create, you know, a sort of love, right? Like he does love her in this movie, and he says it as much, but it's not necessarily like a romantic love. I kind of see it as more like an attachment or like almost like a sibling or protector type
like
love as opposed to
an
a romantic one.
an appreciation of
Yeah,
how.
sure, and I think that for me, like when after the accident, like with the earthquake and the spaceship set, that is
Mhm.
the moment where she went into hiding, or she recluded her
Yeah.
or secluded herself. So
Mhm.
in that 30 years, Genya's been looking for her. It's not like he's just holding on, waiting for it to the right moment. He's legitimately actively been trying to find her, and then
Mhm.
was only able to find her as the film begins. And then that sets everything into motion.
Okay.
But I do think that his story, if we didn't get his story, we would never have known what happened to the man that Chiyoko was looking for, the one that she
Mhm.
fell in love with. And
Yeah.
you know, that that moment when the ex police officer or whoever they really make him out to be, when
Mhm.
he reveals that he was responsible for killing that man,
Mhm.
and then not only does Genya know that, but Chiyoko doesn't.
Yeah.
And then that creates this notion, like there's obviously something strong about a romance when it's between two people and they know each other and they're able to love each other, but there's something else, this beautiful idea of the pursuit of love. And
And
like Chiyoko says in the movie, it's the pursuit that I love.
mhm.
And that is such a just a wonderful sentiment. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
that I love that part of this movie too. Like this final like send off, the 2 minutes where she gives that little quote there is perfect because some people want it's like her life was an adventure because of this person, and she has no regrets on trying to find this person because she's been chasing him for so long, and even though that now she knows that he has passed, she's like, but I loved what I did. When I wanted to try to find him, I would go out, and she kind of explored the world in a different meaning, in a different way that other people would, and trying to find this person that she thinks that is still alive. But I absolutely love that quote from her. That last ending is perfect, I feel like.
Mhm. It's a gorgeously done ending, and obviously we spent a lot of time on the story and the characters. I mean, we should touch on the fact that this film is gorgeous. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna it is a movie. Like obviously, I wouldn't say it's as pretty as
Mm-hmm.
something like Miyazaki or Shinkai or Mamoru Hosoda, right? But it is definitely a good looking film. I don't think it's
Yeah.
as good looking as Paprika is a little bit later, but
Mhm.
what really sells this movie is the emotional content of its story, to me at least.
And
Um,
and I always like in this movie too that Genya is kind of her savior in these movies too,
mhm.
because they always hint at it during not during like the first movie or second movie. I think it's the third movie when I started noticing him as being the hero of this movie, and at the end, that kind of just leads up to him rescuing her from the accident. And I was like, that's a great way of setting it up, but not giving you not giving you the answers right away. It's like,
Yeah.
why is he always saving her and doing this? And then you finally figure out, you're like, well, shit, no wonder. Like it's right in front of me the entire time, but I couldn't pinpoint to why he was always on saving her and everything.
Yeah. It's
Mhm.
it's one of those things that like you don't really notice it until he actually saves her life from the
Mhm.
crashing set, that you go, oh shit, like there is a love there, and I think beyond that there's also the idea that life imitates art, which is also in there as well. um, but also like the idea of like films as memory.
Mhm.
A lot of my memories are based on film, so it's like
Mhm.
it's a nice love letter to many different things. Which,
Well, especially for actors and actresses, they know when they do get older, they're gonna look back on their portfolio and be like,
Mhm.
"Man, that was a good time." Like Tom Cruise. Oh man, my first Mission Impossible. Do you remember that? Like stuff like that to bring it up. Like I would love for there to be like a TV series or a movie about or documentary about older actors portraying on like maybe their first movie, not their first movies, but like the ones that they absolutely loved and had to go back and rewatch or something just to show us how passionate they were for that movie.
yeah, which is something that this movie touches on.
Well, and even the freaking camera guy when they're all around the coffee table and cuts back to real time and they're doing something weird. I don't know what they were. I forget
That
what
was
they
the
were
first,
doing.
one of the first times it cut back. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's the camera guy's like, "Are you guys okay?" Like it was so good because they're so passionate about what she does, and he's just a bystander standing from the outside. But then he eventually gets dragged into her stories.
alrighty, so wrapping up here, since this was my pick, I'll go ahead and go first. I think that I love this film's. I love Millennium Actress's positivity and its light when you set it against the kind of more dark and depressing qualities of Perfect Blue and the kind of just visual insanity of Paprika. I think this is easily another Satoshi Kon masterpiece. The guy literally dropped 4 movies before he passed away, and all of them were fantastic. Um, I do think that it does beg for a little bit more exploration, but not like that's me like wishing, but I like with what we have, I think it's perfect as it is. Not perfect, but like you know what I mean. It's like as is. I absolutely love it. It easily melts your heart and breaks your heart in the same setting, and just like after watching this, I had the same thought that I had after watching Cinema Paradiso, which is, God damn it, I love movies.
Mhm.
So for me, I thought this was very, very, very good. I gave it a 95 out of 100, which is a 4.5 stars out of 5 on Letterboxd. Absolutely love this movie.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, I want to say again, the negatives of this movie are not negative at all. Please go watch this movie; it's fantastic. That was just my own opinion on it, but I did like the message of this movie was very heartfelt and very well grounded. In this movie, I did like all the characters; they all stood out fantastically, and I like how they put you in different movie sets throughout the whole movie as well. And you get a little different part of her acting throughout the whole entire years. I told Garrett already that I needed to look up my score because I am going to give it another score. Actually, it's not the one that we were talking about. So I gave this movie an 82 out of 100 just because us talking about it made me realize that I did actually enjoy it more than I put down in my Letterboxd review.
Yeah, and sometimes that's what you need to happen. Sometimes you just need to talk it out a little bit, and that can work both ways. I've had it happen where I like a movie less after talking about it. Like it happens. Obviously, not a lot of the movies that are on the IMDb or Letterboxd top 250 because there's a reason why they're there. But I definitely feel that. But anyhow, that is going to be it for this week's episode. The question now falls to you. What do you think of Millennium Actress? If you watched it before this week, go ahead and leave your thoughts in the comments down below. But remember to be respectful of one another, because just don't be a dick. I'm tired of making jokes. Just don't be a dick. Next week, we're covering a drama classic, Cool Hand Luke. Very excited to talk about that film. So make sure to watch it before next week so you're not spoiled. And that's it. So obviously we have our live stream going live every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And every Friday, that's when these videos go live, Movie Club. And I swear, I keep saying it, there's going to be a new movie out, or not a new movie, a new video on this channel by end of August. I am hoping.
Okay.
I do want to do another top 10 or something, or some sort of video content by the end of the summer. It's just very hard when taking classes, and my family is about to grow and getting a niece. So very excited about that. But thank you so much for watching. And until next time, make sure to keep those eyes on the screen.